This Google engineer that has come out and said that he believes that the Google AI is sentient because it says that it is sad, it says it's lonely, it starts communicating. First of all, if it is sentient, does it get rights?
Right.
Like, does it get treated like a human being? Like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Ray Kurzweil was talking at one point in time about downloading consciousness into computers and that he believes that inevitably will happen.
Right.
And my thought was like, well, what's going to stop someone from downloading themselves 1,000 times?
Yeah, of course, right. You can detect emotional loading from text now, so you can kind of determine with the computer, you can kind of say this text reflects somebody who's happy because they're saying, oh, I'm having a great day, versus this text is like, I'm super mad, therefore it's upset. And so you could have the computer could get trained on, okay, if I say this thing, it's likely to make humans happy. If I say this thing, it's likely to make humans sad.
This is all very weird.
Yes.
And for sure, we're in the fog of life. If it's not life, it's in this weird fog of like what makes a person a person. Like what makes an intelligent, thinking human being that knows how to communicate able to respond and answer questions.
So let's talk about, there's something called the Turing test. So the Turing test, basically, in its simplified form, the Turing test is basically you're sitting in a computer terminal, you're typing in questions, and then the answers are showing up on the screen. There's a 50% chance you're talking to a person sitting in another room who's typing the responses back. There's a 50% chance you're talking to a machine. You don't know. You can ask the entity on the other end of the connection any number of questions, right? He or she or it will give you any number of answers. At the end, you have to make the judgment as to whether you're talking to a person or talking to a machine. The theory of the Turing test is when a computer can convince a person that it's a person, then it will have achieved artificial intelligence, right? Then it will be as smart as a person. But that begs the question of like, okay, like how easy are we to trick? Look, if it's an algorithm that's been optimized to trick people, basically, to convince people that it's real, it's going to pass the Turing test, even though it's not actually conscious. Meaning it has no awareness, it has no desire, it has no regret, it has no fear. It has none of the hallmarks that we would associate with being a living being, like much less a conscious being.